we might move on to FinCare. So we've got Brian Willett, who is from FinCare Finance, who is an accountant and a financial planner. And he has hired an in-house broker, Lauren Marsh, to facilitate the firm's financing. So in terms of the firm, FinCare is a growth firm. What was it? I love this. It was voted the best professional firm and best small business in a local region in southern Sydney. It has offices in New South Wales and Queensland, and predominantly does home loans for small business owners. So, Brian, we might start with you in terms of why you selected this partnership option and how this has contributed to your growth strategy.
Sure. We originally started, and when the firm was smaller, we did use the referral arrangements. The reasons that we moved away from that was having the control. We'd go to a broker, and you might use an external broker who gets busy in their own work, and all of a sudden your work was maybe not as high a priority, or so we could control the full experience and manage the process. And then really when we brought Lauren, who's been an expert with a strong background, it wasn't a matter of retraining. We had utmost trust in the work that she would be doing, and being in-house, she understood our culture, FinCare, the caring culture that we have. So she's been a part of that. She's a part of our staff meetings. She knows everything that's going on in the place. So it just became a very integral blend for how we were working. One of the other things that comes through, that everyone's busy. So, and as Moen said, and no disrespect to Moen's situation, but I didn't have time to retrain to do the course. So it meant that we brought somebody in who's already got that history and background and could just start working with the clients. So it's been a very, very successful move for us. I think it's 3 years now that we've been working with Lauren. And yeah, I think the real value comes down for us versus a referral arrangement was when it comes to time, if you do tax planning for a client, in certain ways you'll do tax planning will jeopardize a person's potential to maximize their borrowing. So to have Lauren working hand in hand with the accountants and just discussing their situations, etc., so that we as accountants aren't jeopardizing the client's potential borrowing. And Lauren is working with the accountants all the time. She's flat out around that tax planning time to make sure no one falls foul of what they should be doing.
Yeah, and I think that that's actually a really interesting position, because I've heard that on both sides of the fence, where accountants are obviously in the tax planning process looking to potentially minimize or maximize profits for whichever perspective, and then it has the complete reverse effect on trying to secure finance. So it is that tap dance. So I think that for the small business customers in particular, having a broker and accountant working on that collaboratively is really beneficial. So, and I know, Brian, that we talked to a little while ago about sort of the hard benefits of this arrangement, as well as some soft benefits. So I was perhaps wanting to just explore what your thoughts were of the benefit to your business from both those sort of hard and soft perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. So the hard ones, obviously the revenue, the extra side to the business. But the clients who, if you have a client who's working with you as an accountant, as a financial planner, who has their loans with you, who has their leases with you, who's using our general insurance arm, it's a very, very sticky client. So, not that we have problems with client retention, but it really makes it a very complete service package for the people and for the clients. So that's one of the softer benefits. The other hard benefits, I think, a client of mine, totally unbeknown to me, was talking to Lauren. He then referred Lauren a home loan client. So he's totally external to us, but he's talking to a friend who needed a home loan. That goes to Lauren, then Lauren starts talking to us and brings that client back in as an accounting client. So it's just an extra service arm which stands on its own, but also is a part of the overall group. So it gives you that both ways.
Yeah, no, excellent. And Lauren, what about from your perspective? What appealed to you about this partnership option?
I think I was working in a smaller business where I probably wasn't seeing enough clients. We were struggling to get referrals. You were working sort of against accountants rather than with them because you weren't working together. So for me, just the opportunity and the client base and coming in and having all those leads and clients that want to talk to you, and they're warm leads because they're coming from the accountant. Everyone trusts their accountant. The accountant says do it. Normally they do it. So that for me was my big selling point.
Yeah, and I know that when we were speaking recently, you were saying that, you know, you've really learned a lot about different areas of tax and so forth, which you felt was quite beneficial.
Yes, lots of complex tax structures that I'm starting to get my head around now. So that is just constantly working in an office with accountants, and we're working together. So whether it be like their tax planning and we're loan planning, or me just saying, I don't understand this, and then going through it with me, just having that better understanding of it before it goes to the lender and making sure that, you know, it's going to be successful rather than it going there, you're only half understanding. And then there's all these questions, there's a lot of back and forth, and it just makes the process a lot smoother, quicker, less painful.
Yeah, indeed. And I might just segue for a moment. I've had a few questions come in, which we will definitely address towards the end of the session. But please keep those questions coming either in the chat function or through the Q&A section, and we'll get to that at the end. So, Lauren, just back to what you were saying, can you give an example of where you've sort of seen an environment where you feel that the client has benefited from this structure, perhaps either coming to you directly or through Brian and his team, where this is, you know, it's been more efficient or whatever the case may be?
I've actually had a lot of clients in the lead up to tax time, and when we're getting close to tax, that the accountants may have referred, or we've had a mail out and they've come and said, okay, I want to do this. And we look at the income and we're like, well, it's not quite there yet, but we're getting close to that end of financial year. We'll talk to the accountant. We work together. We're working towards the same goal. That's probably the biggest thing. Like, you're working together to get that done for them. So that happens a lot. So that would be the biggest for me.